How many of you know that I started out as a chess broadcaster? I was originally a player. I used to compete on the Olympic team of Hungary, and I hosted as my job some of the top chess events in the world, including the World Chess Championship. That was one of my biggest events to cover. I was the host in London, together with the legendary Judith Polgar, of the World Chess Championship, which is the top chess event in the world. The world champion and his challenger face off. It's an almost a months-long event, and I was the host together with the best female chess player of all time, Judith Polgar, who is a friend of mine, and it was a freaking cool time. And every day I also recorded extra clips and snippets for the show about the venue itself, and this was a tour around the venue.
This is the battlefield of the 2018 World Chess Championship. Reigning world champion Magnus Carlsen and challenger Fabiano Caruana will be fighting at this board for 12 days here in the downtown of London. The place is soundproof, a double-layer glass, a mirror reflection for the players, and on the other side, the visitors will be watching.
Imagine playing in that box, but at least it's soundproof and no one could disturb the players. Isn't that like, whoa? Not every chess event is like this, so this is the top of the top.
This is the fourth time Magnus Carlsen plays a world championship match, while for Fabiano Caruana, the first. Will it be the experience of the Norwegian that prevails, or the hunger of the American Grandmaster to bring home the world title? We shall figure it out in the next few weeks. There's so much interest in the match that it's very difficult to get tickets. Hundreds of people will be sitting here every day in the college, watching the game, rooting for Fabiano Caruana or Magnus Carlsen. There are plenty of places where the visitors can go. For instance, the Chess Cafe, where they can grab a drink, a snack, or challenge each other for a game of chess in the entertainment area.
How many of you recognize the gentleman that's just casually playing there near the cafe? It is Mr. Woody Harrelson. And every single day in the studio too, during the broadcast, we had VIP guests. Part of my job was to sit next to these celebrities and interview them during the live show.
Right now we have a special guest with us. He has been nominated for the Academy Award multiple times, won an Emmy for his role in Cheers, and is an avid chess fan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Woody Harrelson in the studio.
Thank you.
So nice to see you, Woody.
I shook hands with him.
Welcome.
I shook hands with him. The camera is now spamming out. He absolutely loves chess. This was already his second World Chess Championship. And I was so nervous, but of course you cannot show it. You're in front of the camera. People are sitting in front of you too. So you need to fake it till you make it. You need to pretend you're confident and cool, but I was nervous. And he was such an amazing guest. It was one of the easiest interviews. He was so nice, so casual. He was so into the game too. He always wanted to go back to the game and analyze more. It was just a really cool experience, and that was just the first day. We did this every single day with other guests. We had actors, directors, scientists. The founder of Wikipedia visited us the other day. Then we had Demis Hassabis, who is one of the founders of DeepMind, where AlphaZero was born. So in terms of artificial intelligence, science, information technology, the world of Hollywood with actors, directors joining us, it was just such a colorful event, and every single day we had many of them visiting us, because there were days when every hour someone new would show up in the studio and they would just sit there with us casually talking about the game of chess. I used to travel to all these events, spend half of the months in a hotel, going to all sorts of places in Europe, but also the States, and I loved it. And this is how my life was before the pandemic. I absolutely love this job. I lived and died for traveling to events and hosting some of these top chess events. But I've been very lucky because I had a dream list of events I wanted to cover at chess, the top, the best, the coolest events. And I was ticking it one by one. I was invited by the organizers to all the events I had dreamed of. This was the biggest one. This was the final one I needed to tick, the World Chess Championship, because that is every 2 years and only 2 hosts are there. It's not easy to get this job when only 2 people in the world will take it every 2 years. And I got to be the official host. It was a dream come true. So that was my life back then. That was obviously one of the top events I have covered, but all the other events too that I was listed to go to in 2020 were super exciting. I was gonna be one of the hosts of the Pro Chess League final, and also in Norway there was gonna be a very strong super tournament with Magnus Carlsen and the rest of the top chess players. But suddenly this thing called the pandemic happened, and I could no longer travel. I could no longer go anywhere. And that's when I recorded this video. It looks like I'm almost crying. I think I was very sad, so that's like partially true. Because that was the very start of the pandemic. It was really scary. And obviously I myself had no idea what was gonna happen. So let's listen to past Anna and what she had to say with tears in her eyes.
Hi there. I just wanted to sit down and tell you that I hope that you and your family are well. I hope that you are safe. I hope that you are healthy, and that this situation, no matter how tough it is for everyone, is something that you are coping with. We are all in this together, and we're gonna get through this, but we need to stay positive. We need to see the bright side of things, even when things can be really shitty. It is something that affecting everyone in the world, and it makes me really worried on a daily basis. At the same time, I try to think positive and keep making cheerful, positive content, because I think that's the only way I can contribute to the world right now, by still showing up every day on my stream, still showing up on social media in videos, and just trying to project positivity, because I think we all need it even more during these times. So I want to send you lots of positive vibes, but also bring you some good news, because since now hopefully you're staying home, you're staying safe, and you may have more free time, I have a few pieces of information for you that may help you spend your time in a pleasant way if you wish to hang out with me.
Some of the updates included the course I was about to publish on Chessable, and after I talked about the course, my next update.
Second of all, most of my events, actually no, who am I kidding? All of my events are cancelled or postponed, so I'm gonna be staying home just as much as you do, which means that I'm gonna be streaming a lot. And not just because I have to stay at home, but because I feel like, as I said, now this is my purpose, to try to keep bringing you those positive vibes, to try to keep cheering people up.
That's when I went full-time streaming. All my events were cancelled, so that gave me a reason to try, because I was always interested in it over 3 years ago when I started my channel, but I was only streaming very casually. I would stream 2-3 times a week, and when I was away at events like the World Chess Championship, I wouldn't stream at all, because it was a very, very packed schedule we would have at events. Oftentimes the internet in the hotel wouldn't even be fast or good enough to try. And focusing on the broadcast, that was my full-time job, not just for the duration of the broadcast, but I was often helping the organizers. I was often helping the rest of the event with anything I could. So I was part of the brainstorming teams, oftentimes of the media teams. I was helping the organizers with side events. It was very much part of my lifestyle to be fully focusing on chess events. But with the pandemic, I had nowhere to go, not knowing what was gonna happen, not knowing how long it was gonna be there, not knowing what the world will be like. It was just this general shock and feeling of uncertainty. But because of this scary period of time, I finally got to give myself a chance to try full-time streaming. I never wanted to give up broadcasting for streaming, because I thought that streaming on Twitch, as much as I loved it, I loved it, I loved having a channel, I loved my casual streams, but I thought that to have Twitch as your one and only job is extremely tough. They say there are about 3 million streamers now in the world, and a very low percentage of those 3 million can make a living out of streaming. There are so many fish out there in that Twitch ocean. To get where you can actually make a living out of streaming, when streaming is free content, it's a tricky one, because if it's your full-time job, you do need the financial support. But at the same time, I never wanted to make people feel like you should be supporting me. It was this phenomenon where I would have needed it because I suddenly had nothing else going on but my Twitch channel. And at the same time, I just want people to be happy for being here. And I always wanted to appreciate everybody just as much, whether you're a subscriber or not. So the first few months of my streaming were very tough. This is when I decided to give Twitch a try. And I wasn't feeling like it was gonna work. There were a couple of streams of mine when after I finished streaming, I had tears in my eyes or literally started crying. Kevin was the only one who saw me being so worried. You're trying to build your channel, you're trying to make it, and you're trying to pay your bills. I think my average viewers were about 100. I was known in the chess world. I didn't have to start from scratch, from episode 0. I did have my roughly 18,000, 20,000 followers. But even like this, to make it financially successful is a very tough road. And I never really wanted to feel this pressure on me that I show up, I stream, I'm doing my best to create good content, chess and gaming wise. Also pay attention to the numbers, and the numbers weren't good at the start. I was not getting many subscriptions. I was not getting the financial support one needs for being able to call Twitch your main income, your full-time job. I didn't know if it was ever gonna work out. And then this happened. Traditionally, Twitch is a gaming platform, and now chess is very much one of the top categories, but it used to be like, you stream what? Chess? It has become normal because some of the top gamers and streamers started to play chess on their streams, and that's where PogChamps grew out of. SQC picked up chess, he started collaborating with Hikaru, then the first PogChamps was organized and all the rest. Then the Queen's Gambit gave an additional boost, obviously in the fall of 2020, with Beth Harmon becoming a very popular chess figure that brought even more streamers and gamers into chess, and even more of you showed up on Twitch. All the chess channels started to get more exposures, more viewers, just more eyes on chess as a category, because people didn't even know chess was a thing on Twitch. Gotham Chess and myself, so Levi and me, started hosting more and more of Hikaru's tournaments on his channel. That also helped a lot in the fall and winter, because by the end of December, Hikaru said that I had to hit 100,000 followers by the end of the year 2020. And I have 51,000 followers. When I'm told that I need to double down on that number, that's my goal. I thought it was a mission impossible. How do you bring another 50,000 people in? And it happened. I believe just 1 or 2 days before the year ended. It was crazy. Look at that. December the 31st, 100,592 followers. The growth of the channel meant that now I can have sponsors, and that gives me a financial stability that I did not have. So now it's this very lucky, very fortunate situation where I no longer even need to worry that much about the subscriber number or if I get financial support from the streams, from the viewers, because I have sponsors. That is just huge thanks to these booms, but also the fact that you guys stick around. I think the reason why many of you are here, that's just my wild guess, is that you like it in this community, because we have a community that's very friendly and positive, and it's spamming tomato hugs right now in the chat. And in times of the pandemic, when for a very long time, many of us couldn't go anywhere, we couldn't see our friends and family, we needed online hangout places. And this place, my channel, for me, and luckily for many of you guys, it became this social place where you can hang out during the pandemic, during the lockdowns, and during all these times of uncertainty. We had and we have a place to be, a place to stay at. Is leaving even an option? No, you guys are staying in the basement. And I know I started on a sad note with this video, but I want to end on a high note and on a happy note. Today is my final stream before I'm moving back to Spain. I'm taking Kevin with me. We couldn't leave the house for 1.5 years. We couldn't go anywhere. I haven't seen my parents and my sister for almost 2 years by now. And it's a new home for Kevin. He never lived in Spain. I lived in Spain when I met him. And then the lockdown happened. And I suddenly ended up not being able to go back to the place where a lot of my things were, my home. I couldn't return. To be paying rent for months for a place you're not even using, but I couldn't move out of the place because I was just like, okay, what am I supposed to do? At the start of the lockdown, because we didn't know how long it will be, I guess I was hopeful that I was gonna be able to return within the next few months, that the lockdown was just a short-term thing and things were gonna be fine. So I guess I had this maybe too optimistic hope that things were gonna go back to normal a lot sooner. I luckily have a local friend that was just saying, no, Anna, we need to sort this out. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna pack for you. We're gonna move your things out. And I called the agency that I was renting the place from, and they let me do it digitally, that I sign out of the apartment, because originally it wasn't even possible. I should have been there. I should have been there physically to give the keys back, to arrange everything, but I couldn't travel. So they let me do it over the phone and through emails. My friend packed all my things and sent most of them to me with all the shipping and such, just packing boxes and suitcases and sending them to Ireland. I got stuck in a very happy state. Obviously, I would rather be here in Ireland and have Kevin's company than be stuck in Spain alone. Obviously, it's a lot better that I had Kevin here and that we got through this together. You need people in your life that you love and trust and can rely on. And without Kevin, I don't think I could have done this. Certainly not on my own. I'm very lucky that I had him, and I hope he feels that way about having me, that we were each other's biggest support during these times, and we had nobody else to see in person. We had to rely on each other 24/7, and it's a test for a relationship too, because suddenly we were not only living together, but we were the only two people forever and ever. It was a situation where it either breaks it, because suddenly the problems come to surface, suddenly you are like, maybe we are not the best match, or the other way around, and luckily it's the other way around for us, that it makes you stronger as a couple, because you get to know each other even better and you get to go through something that's very difficult to go through, and it strengthens you as a squad. We both had our own communities too, helping us. As I always told you, for a lot of you were sending all these kind messages on how much it meant to you during the lockdown, that you had this community, that you had this place to go to. But it's the same for me. Just because I'm the streamer and you guys are the tomatoes, I'm a viewer and community member myself, because without you guys, I wouldn't have had such happy and cheerful days. Without this community, I don't think that our mental health would have been this positive and optimistic, and just staying sane during very challenging times. And one very important final thing to add to this whole story time is that I started streaming full-time because I couldn't go to events, but now I cannot imagine my life without this community, without streaming on Twitch, and I'm not giving up on this. I am not willing to give up on streaming full-time on Twitch, no matter how normal the world returns, no matter how many events return. I am not going back to what used to be my dream job, what used to be what I lived and died for, to be the host of many of these top events. But I no longer want to be a full-time broadcaster. I will be hosting chess events here and then, especially when they are online events. I can no longer imagine traveling every month and being away for half a month, staying in a hotel that I don't have good internet from. I can't keep up with streaming. My priority now is this community, the wholesome tomatoes. I'm not giving up on you guys. I hope that that's good news, that even though the world is opening up and even though events will be returning, I'm no longer the same Anna. I used to love broadcasting, I used to love traveling all the time, but it's no longer my priority. My priority is now that I have my own platform, my own community, and I want to look after you guys as much as you looked after me. If you let me look after you a little longer, like for many, many more years. Do we have a deal? Do we have a deal? For many, many more years. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna turn around and desert you. Never. Thank you so much for watching. This was streamed live on my Twitch channel where I stream full time, 5 days a week. Do catch us live next time or follow the highlights and the votes here on my YouTube channel. In either case, I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much again and bye for now. Until the next time.